Listen show. I am really honored and privileged to have you on our show today. And for those of you who are watching and listening, Dr. Sylvia Likambi is someone I've met a few years ago already. Time flies. Oh my God. I was invited to one of her events over in Liverpool, England. And, that's where we met in person. And then also met a host of amazing, powerful women at the event. For those of you who are listening, I just found out that she has a doctor of pharmacy. I remember she has a PhD, but I just found out she has a doctor of pharmacy. Now she is the founder and global chair of the organization called the Global Visionary Women Network, and that's where we met. She is also the global CEO and consultant of Dr. Sylvia Likambi International and Dr. Sylvia Likambi International Health and Wellbeing Clinic. She is also the founder and CEO of Behavior Change, award-winning community interest company, Voice of Nation. She has an accolade of awards, and also she is doing amazing work from her birth country, Cameroon. I always remember you talk about the Little Angels Foundation. You're supporting children over there as well, in their education. So really honored to have you here with us today.
Thank you so much for having me, Dr. Rain. I'm truly honored. It's really a privilege to be on your show, and thanks so much. Thank you. I'm really grateful. And the amazing work that you are doing is such a privilege to be able to contribute in the little way I can. Thanks for this opportunity.
Oh, likewise. You are someone that from the day I met you, that's been, I think, about 4 or 5 years ago already, we met each other. You come across as someone to me who is very dedicated, very committed, someone that I see you as a very strong pillar of strength and for humanity too. So thank you. And that leader in the world. So today I kind of would like you to talk a little bit about your work. I know how we met was we both were, we met at your event, and we both are advocates of women, right? So if you empowering women. So
thank you, and thank you so much for accepting our invitation. It was during the International Festival for Business 2014, where we had women from all over the globe for the Global Visionary Women Convention, first global convention, and thank you so much. We're really blessed and enriched by your teaching and inspiration. You were a huge inspiration. In fact, we saw your work. You are just come from doing a powerful seminar. And myself and Adeline, one of my global secretary, we're like, we need to get Dr. Annie here. We need to get her. And we're so thrilled when you accepted and honored our invitation. Thank you. It was a great pleasure to meet you. And since then, we've stayed, connected because you're such a wonderful person as well. And I just love everything you do. Your energy and everything just makes me connected to you as well. You do empower me a lot and inspire me as well. Thank you.
Likewise. That's why we've kept connected. So what got you into what you're doing, with women empowerment? Could you share a little bit about your journey?
Oh, I know. Yeah, this is actually the story of my women empowerment. Like, as you know, I'm a doctor in pharmacy, went on calmly, did my PhD. Actually, specifically, I specialize on hematology, blood, chronic leukemia. And I was working in the Royal Hospital. It was my dream then to become a professor and eventually find a drug to cure leukemia. But when I had my first daughter, Latoya, which you've just had an interview with, it was the most challenging period in my marriage, in my relationship. There was the best moment in my life. I'm sure for every mother, you would definitely actually testify of when you had your child, of being the best moment, even though it was so challenging. I think it was a lot of misunderstanding. Becoming a mom for the first time, we've always been together, my husband and myself, without any children. And I think I was kind of really attached to my children without knowing. So I think he felt a bit like sidelined, but I didn't recognize that. I was still very immature. I was not so much into personal development. Obviously, I was in the medical field then. And I was really praying so hard, for God to restore my marriage and make me the best mom in the world. I remember Latoya was just 3 years old when I went to church once, and I went out. We had a visiting minister. I never knew him. I'd never met him. And we were asking if anybody needed prayers. I walked out there for prayers, and my prayer point, restore my marriage and make me the best mother, to my child. And when I went out, this gentleman by name Paul McCabe, I will never forget him. He looked at me instead of praying for me. He said he could hear the Lord telling him clearly to tell me I'm called to be a leader of women. I love to say serve, because I believe we're called to lead. I am a servant leader. I'm called to serve people. And I just smiled. I said nothing to anyone. And I was just like, I'm trying to put my own life together, and he's calling me to lead people. But the truth is, I know that from childhood, I've always had that desire, that courage to stand up for what is right, to stand up for those who could not speak for themselves. I was like the senior prefect in my schools, secondary school and all of that. So I've always had that courage. I've been so courageous. I would step up, support people, inspire them and encourage them. I did nothing about that, Annie. I went back to work after maternity leave. I worked again until I had my son. So that was 2006. After about 3 years in 2009, I had my second child and my only son. And things became we settled, everything went well, and I had my son again. We had some ups and downs. But then, I think it was 4 years ago, I quite remember that night, I woke up about 4 a.m. And I started kind of like having this vision. The whole thing started coming back to me. Why to save women? Why called to be a leader of women? And I just thought to myself, maybe a lot of women are going through a lot of challenges. I strongly believe women are the core of families, and I'm so strong. I mean, for someone to tell you their most challenging period in their life was actually the best as well. I'm really that resilient individual. I've always been so strong and powerful. It's a gift. I really don't take credit for that. And I think maybe growing up, my dad also believed a lot in me, my mom, so I had that confidence. I think they kind of boosted me to know that I'm sufficient, I'm enough, I don't need people to approve me and things like that. And when I got up then, I said, maybe this is the reason. Because a lot of women go through all of this, maybe during pregnancy, childbirth, those who are married, some kind of challenges, and they give up. They become depressed, but here am I. I'm still strong. I'm still the best mom. If you look at my children, they were awesome. They were real. Even myself, absolutely nothing. I wouldn't have ever had any depression. Had a moments of like ups and downs, but my goal was to be the best parent to my children. I was there smiling 24/7, giving them my very best. I just enjoyed being a mom. I didn't mind, actually, I think I was doing a lot more things than allowing my husband to do things unconsciously. I just enjoyed every moment. I remember even when we said someone was going to come and help me, I said, if you're helping me, I don't really need help with the children because I love children. I will need help maybe with housework, but I can take care of everything concerning the children. So that's when I started writing the vision. I said, I can understand. Maybe I'm just called to be a voice. And I was thinking, what could be the name? I thought of so many names, and Voice of Nations stood out. I said, I believe I'm called for so many women of all nations, to be that voice of hope, that voice of courage to them, to tell them you can do it, you can go on, don't give up, to gain confidence in themselves and believe in themselves and in their ability to succeed. And that's when Dr. Annie, Dr. Rain, I started writing everything. I was writing the vision. I wrote it. It was so clear. It was so clear, which was like to transform the life and status of young girls, women, and their families so they can become aware of their rights and full potential and excel into leadership positions and financial independence. Because I understood that the final goal was to becoming leaders. We were born leaders. In fact, all great men and women of the world have been led to the world by women, but some of them have just lost their place. So it was for me to empower them, and it's all about finding their authentic identity and purpose. And that was it. I've never done anything in business. My field was completely different. I left the house the next day, just trying to inquire how to start a business. I had no idea. And when things just seem to fall into places, that some people say the universe seems to have everything in alignment. I went to this, I think it's a job center spot, and they told me, oh, we know a company, they can support you start your business. It's for free because they are fully funded. I called the company and they said, oh, we can help you. I'm like, I'm on maternity leave. I've got my child with me. I'm still breastfeeding. They're like, we can come to you. We can book to meet you in a coffee shop, at your convenience. And that was it. I was having a session weekly. And by the time I finished off my maternity leave, Voice of Nation was founded. I had everything clearly, registered the organization. I started doing some pilot, and it's just been incredible. It's been incredible, Dr. Annie, honestly. The fulfillment, the transformation, getting people's life transformed, seeing people who had absolutely no faith or belief in themselves, who were low, some suicidal, some pilot projects that I was just using my experiences in life and reading and putting things together, making it original. The transformation was incredible. And then I made the decision then that, because I was doing a lot of work. When you just start a business, I was sleeping like literally 3-4 hours a night. And I said, this is not good for me. I would have to make a tough decision here. Stop my profession for a while, maybe just leave that for a while. I can always go back there. I've got the qualifications. But this project, I am actually the visionary. I need to give birth to it fully, It's still in the stage of growing. I need to let it grow and start producing fruits before I can leave it. So I need to devote my time and energy on this because I was so fulfilled. And eventually when I made that decision, everyone thought I was really abnormal, my family, my husband. But it was the best decision in my life. And I've never looked back. I've never looked back. And it's just been incredible. Just serving people, bringing the best out of them. And that's my life, till this moment. And that was in 2010. I founded the company, but I left my job at the Royal Hospital fully at 2011, May 2011. I think I had my 1 month of leave, and then that was it. And that was it. That was the end of that part of my career. And I've never looked back. And it's just been incredible. The rewards are priceless. They're priceless.
That is amazing. Just hearing you share. So I have a couple of questions, but I think what I would love for you to share is, I think for some people, and especially women too, but I think in general, you studied, right? Your background in pharmacy, and then got this vision and this project and follow and just went with it and left that behind. I think for a lot of people, it can be scary, so I would love to, if you could just share, how did you, what advice can you give individuals? Because I totally can resonate with what you say, and for some people, it might be really scary to leave something that they have already, they thought, okay, I've studied for this for so many years, right? How could I just let that all go? So what advice would you give?
I think the advice I'll give people, because I've seen a lot of people who really have a passion for something, they are gifted, they want to follow their dreams, their heart's desire, but they are held by, by what we call security. I always say there's no real security in life, honestly, because we don't know what will happen tomorrow. And it's the thing of security. And for me, if I had to stay on that job, it was just that security of maybe a wage. But what I did, that I would advise them, honestly, it's not like I left without being sure that we would have like some financial security. I used to be an excellent saver. I would save, and my husband was working then as well. So I'd saved a lot of money, and I knew that worst case scenario, within a year, even if I had no salary from what I was going to, pursue my vision, my purpose, I would still be able to have some savings there that would see me through. I could literally pay myself as if I was still working. And then another thing, it was the conviction. It was the vision. It was so alive, Annie. When the moment comes, you will know. I said, I had this 3 years ago. I did nothing. It was not the time. There was something in me. That feeling that you cannot sleep. It's so alive. It calls you. It's like every single day I could hear that voice aloud. I could see the image. I could see myself. I could literally dream impacting people. Sometimes I would just sit there with women, just talking to them. I would see some women crying, and I would send my hand to them. They would come to me. I would say something and uplift them. It was so powerful. It was so powerful. And one case that made me really caught it, and I'm so spiritual as well, I'm a Christian. I prayed a lot. I prayed for direction. I had an au pair, then she's from Canada. I asked her to pray for me as well. And that's when I wrote my first book, which is A Father's Tender and Compassionate Love, something quite different. It talks about my dad's love for me and God's love for me. And I was asking, if you've called me for this, show me. Make it clearly, because I want to serve. I want to do what I'm called to do. So apart from that, that praying, that assurance, I met this lady. There were just a lot of things that I can't say is coincidence. I've never seen her before. This was just the tip of it that I said, this is where I had to be. And she met me at a job center. I went to talk about the work I'm doing, that I've just founded Voice of Nations. Just gave some flyers there. And she met me, we just spoke. I told her what I'm doing. I gave her my card. Casually, I left. Can you believe that 2 weeks after this woman was taken to the mental hospital, she was abused at her home. She's had a lot of problems with her husband, and there was a lot of discrimination and all of that. And they said she had mental problems. You know, she was actually off paid. The husband was an atheist and stuff like that. So there was a lot of disagreement, and the police just took her away. And she said she had only her clothes on when she was taken away. And in that particular clothes that she had, that's the same clothes she was wearing when she met me there. And she left her phone at home. My card was in her pocket. That's the only number she had. These are not coincidences. She called me. It's amazing how I took that so personally, Dr. Rain. I couldn't sleep. She told me she's there. They've given her an intravenous drug, you know, to keep her there because she was saying that she's fine. She was rejecting it. So they kind of like section her. I've never heard of this in my lifetime. I've never worked with communities. Behold, I was working in the hospital. It was always among medical professionals and stuff like that. So seeing the reality of what people go through was really, really something that brought the compassionate nature of me. And I took this personally. And being a pharmacist, and I believe that's why everything works out so well. My medical profession is still very relevant with the work I do. I went back. I asked her the drug she was taking, the drug she was giving, and all of that. I just did kind of like a rehearsal, revision on my medical field. I booked an appointment to see the psychiatrist the next week. I was so upset. I did some refreshing and I went there, and my goal was to go and speak to the psychiatrist and do an appeal to take her off there. She was at the highest stage where she was restricted. She couldn't even go out of the hospital without, you know, being supervised. I went to that hospital. I was so prepared. Being a researcher, I had all sorts of research on, you know, drugs, medications, and all of that. And I spoke to the doctor. He's never been challenged in his entire life like that. You know, the drugs, and at one time, he also let her go home on a visit. When you're on one of those drugs, you had to have a strict protocol put in place. If you are out, they need to have levels because it's so toxic. Anything could happen that you are on that drug. And she had a reaction while she was away. So I was telling this doctor, do you know you could be sued, putting everything together? And then he's like, okay, please send me some of the research. I was telling him about this psychiatric in America. He's a researcher too. You know, I love being a researcher because clinicians are focused on drugs, on giving you drugs to cure you. Researchers, I believe, we go beyond. We want to find the best with research. So all of that. And he even asked me for a lot of the publications because he realized that he made a lot of errors. And I said, okay, something just came to me. So now you can let this lady go. There's no point keeping her in this hospital. He said, okay, they just need to get her drugs. They can't leave her without medications. Then they will release her in 3 days. And I thought about it. I said, hold on a minute. Have you forgotten that you've sectioned her? She's got drugs in her system. It's an intravenous drug you've given her. So it's being gradually released in her system. So if you let her go today, she's not staying without drugs or medication. She has medications being released in her system while you think of the best option for her. He stayed there, couldn't say anything. Dr. Rain, can you believe that? I left that hospital with this lady. I remember going out. When I left, I sat there. She had to go and pack her things and come and meet me. And so many women were coming to me, just taking my cards. They're like, my husband abused me, I'm here. Unfortunately, I've never been there again. Maybe I'll have to revisit that hospital. They were just saying, I need your help. When I went out waiting for her, I remember I made this phone call to my husband. I'm like, sweetheart, this is the confirmation. This is where I have to be. Somebody I do not know, Dr. Ed. I never knew her. I went there so you could see my courage and everything. And I understood that even my medical background was not wasted. It still comes into place. So what I would tell people, follow your heart. That vision, there is nothing far better and amazing than living a purposeful life. The very reason you were born to live. And your strengths, your gifts will determine that. The things you naturally flow at. So follow that. There is no way you're going to be poor. Don't be afraid. Don't focus on the now. Don't be thinking about you're not going to have financial whatever rewards. If you are so determined, you put your soul, your entire being in it. In fact, I tell people, I can't fail because my business is the purpose I live. As long as I live, I've got to succeed, except I'm dead. But then there will be a legacy to live on. When you become that convicted, it's like you're going only to win, only to succeed. There are no two options. There is no plan B. So until you get to that stage, if you're not very convicted, I won't advise you to leave. When you're still having that doubt, like you said the other time, Dr. Wayne, I always carry this, what did you say? Is it faith? It's like just jumping into the river and learn how to swim. Not thinking that, do I know how to swim? And go, you're gonna survive. You're going to learn skills. I had no skills about, being an entrepreneur. But the thing is that you have to read, spend time. I invested in myself. I used a lot of my money at the beginning, buying books, having mentors who have gone and they are doing exceedingly well. I will get the best mentor in every area. I bought books, I bought tapes, I was reading, I was working on myself. It transformed my life tremendously. I was the best teacher. I think my whole purpose helped me best more than any other person. So when you find that purpose, that vision, like you said also, Dr. Rain, it's far bigger than you. It's far bigger than you. It's not about me. It's not about me. And the fulfillment is incredible. To transform someone's life, you can't put a price on that. No amount of wage, I told my husband, salary from the real hospital could give me that sense of fulfillment I felt on that day. And for me, it's you finding that thing, that one thing that you live every day. You wake up, you feel like without this, life is not worth living. What is that thing? Go for it. You will not fail. Meet mentors, meet leaders, people who have been there. Ask, learn, develop yourself. Don't just go feel that I've got the strength, I've got the gift. There is always room for fine-tuning. So that's what I'll advise you on. If you get all the skills, and you must be willing, a willing mind can, bring down mountains, can achieve whatever you desire and conceive in your mind you want to achieve. And if you believe that, you will achieve it. There is just no room for fear. Forget about fear and everything. Nothing is secure. You've had people who've held on to their jobs, they've been made redundant. Nothing is secure in life. Nothing. Just know that. Just go and serve wholly and fully. And then, of course, putting things in place and making sure maybe your spouse is working and you could be able to pay your bills and stuff like that. Then I think you have to go for it.
Wow, it's just very powerful what you just shared, and so many gems in what you just shared. I love that it is about following your heart at the end, your passion, and I get that you said about spirit guided too. I can really resonate with you. Just seeing myself the way I've also gone through pretty similar process like you. It's a very empowering, and I love that you talk about that. Conviction. It's about conviction, right? And when you find that bigger purpose, that's it. Just follow. And so it's no longer work. It's just your life, right? You wake up and you're not gonna retire because there's no retirement. There's no retirement.
I love sometimes that when I'm old, I'll be on my stick and shaking and empowering people. I'll be strong.
That's amazing. Yeah, there's no limit to that, right? No limit at all. So so many gems you just shared. And so for women who are struggling, as you've met a lot, right, who comes your way, who you've seen in your previous work too, and now that if they're struggling, one of the things that I see with women, and from my experience, and I'm sure that's what you've also experienced as women, typically we are more, because we tend to nurture other people a lot more. We tend to not nurture ourselves so much, right? And then so we have a tendency, I've seen more issue with self-worth with women in general. And so what would you, what are some things you can share with women who are struggling with their self-worth issues?
Very right. I've seen that very often with women as well. They feel overwhelmed, they feel depleted. Some come to me and say, how do you do it? You support people and then you still like vibrant. I'm like, you cannot give, like you said the other time, from an empty vessel, or you simply cannot give what you don't have. feel yourself first, become empowered. And I always say, it takes a transformed individual to transform the lives of others. There are no two ways. It's not theory. It's about a lifestyle. It's just like literally, if you are that light, you don't struggle to shine. The purpose of the light is to shine. You shine and shine brightly to your full potential. It's really finding who you are. And for me, I think they struggle because a lot of them don't know their identities. You know, we have so many roles to play. Roles are not necessarily who we are. They're just one of those roles. We are so multidimensional as women. And I think they just go under the banner of, I am a Mrs. or I am a mother. And then they just limit themselves to that. I just encourage them. And in fact, one of my key workshops is on the self-awareness. It's unlocking people's identity. Find yourself. Identity defines your purpose. Once you understand your identity, your purpose, you understand that you can only serve when you are the very best of yourself. And either is damaged and either does not work properly is of no benefit to the entire body. The I must be vibrant. It must be functioning to its full potential to actually edify the entire body. Is exactly the same thing. I tell a lot of women, my mentees I work with, it's not selfish to take care of yourself. When you are fully empowered, when you work at your maximum, because you've taken care of yourself, nurtured yourself, and you've got, you know, that full potential, and you're serving at your maximum, only your best actually will bring the very best of you and the best to the world and the people you serve, because you give your very best and nothing less. So taking care of yourself, that you become the best, the healthiest, the happiest, the most in love with yourself. Honestly, there is no other best way you can impact others. You can impact others because you simply shine. You simply come and take over. You don't even need to speak a lot because your lifestyle, like I always use this phrase, you know, we do a lot of work sometimes. We are so caught up in testimonials. Tell me how my work goes for you, you know, or how it transformed your life. I believe the greatest testimonial of our authority is our own lifestyle, Dr. Annie. Dr. Rain, because I could tell you all I want. I could tell you that eat healthy, exercise, and if I'm obese, I have no authority, because then people will not be inspired. But once you see my life, I'm taking care, I'm healthy, it speaks a lot. Someone who is in darkness and struggling, they already know what it means being in darkness. But when I come and shine my light to you, they might not know what it means being in the light, or the thing like people are going to judge me, but just being in the presence of light, it speaks volume. They can begin to feel what it means being in the presence of light. And once they start benefiting, nobody will ask you that, Sylvia, where does that light come from? What faith or what do you have? What nationality? What race? They just feel the experience and it transforms their life. So I believe that you must work on yourself. You are your greatest asset to the world. If you must serve, if you must add value, there are no two ways. It's a crucial requisite. It's a must. Work on yourself. When you love yourself the most, you go out truly to serve, to give people love. You're not going because you need love from people. When people love you, I always say it's a bonus. It's a bonus. But you need more people to love themselves so you have more love in the world. And all of you go and shine. It's just that I need more light in the world. Imagine, Dr. Rain, your life, you're doing this now. We are impacting more people that I would never have met if not of you, because you are a light to the people, your community. So we come together, we are a brighter force. We can shine brightly and reach out to people who are further away. So please, woman, take care, nurture yourself. You are your greatest asset. And the best version of yourself is the best that you need to serve your world and impact others and play the various roles that you play and leave a legacy once you're gone. So thank you.
Thank you. I love the part you mentioned about, you know, you go out there to love. It's not so that you can not what, you know, not them giving you the love, right? So you're that light that's shining and giving, right? Because once you fill up yourself, I love that. So if those of you are listening to this recording, our interview, you know, what can you share, like three, at least some practices they could start, right? You know, for themselves, for women, you know, that they could be more self-aware of what's happening. And also you were talking about the key thing is for them to learn about themselves or add value to themselves. So if you could just share like maybe three simple practices that they could start, at least those who are listening.
All right. Two things they could start. First of all, if you could just get a pen right now, if you're listening to us, I want you to write your greatest strengths. Don't focus on your weaknesses. Too often we focus on the things that we don't have. So you don't come and tell Dr. Reid, I don't have this, I need that. What I'll ask you straight away, what have you got in your hands? You're right there listening to me. You've got some strengths. You're giving those strengths not by chance. It's linked to your purpose. So you can actually fulfill your purpose with greater ease. What are you passionate about? Your passion also, because we are meant to live life. When your work, your purpose becomes your job, your work, it's a lifestyle. You must enjoy it so it doesn't become a burden. What's your passion? For some of you, you might not know because you've gone through a lot of challenges and you've kind of like covered that passion. Go back to when you were a child. What is it you love doing? This is the time now as you listen to me. You might have to start doing that passion of yours again. And then the next thing I want to say is action. Action. Take action. I would say four. Maybe before action, have a vision. Without vision, you are focused on your now. You are focused on what you see. But the truth is, your life is far bigger than the current moment. You need to see far beyond. I want you to visualize if everything given, was okay in your life. You had no problems. You had no financial burdens. You were very wealthy. You were rich. You had the best relationship. You were the best mom. You had everything, your ideal career. And I wake you up today and ask you, what would you love to do for humanity? Every single day that you wake up, you're not working because you need a wage. You're super rich. You're not working or doing things because you need to fix a relationship. You have the best relationship in the world. In fact, you are actually in abundance. What is that one thing that you will say, I will go out and do every single day that will make me fulfilled, joyful, and at peace? Have that vision. Write it down. Visualize it day and night before you sleep. Have a mental image. Have a mental image. Put it somewhere. Draw it. Just put those things there so they can constantly remind you and pull your attention to that and start taking action. I always say dreams, visions without actions are like mere wishes. Or it's like you put a frame picture there of the president of the United States or Nelson Mandela. That's a frame picture. It will forever stay that way. Actions are what will take you to your goal, no matter how small they may be. Take action one day at a time. Small actions, because you have a vision. You are driven. Your everyday, decision is driven to move you towards that vision. Take little actions. Ask for help. Ask. Asking is not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of strength and courage. Ask those who have gone ahead of you. Ask Dr. Rain, see her, meet her. People like myself, there are so many out there who are willing to share. Don't be afraid to say, people to receive a no. Someone might say no, they are not rejecting you. You must have learned something. So just go and take action. So if I have to recap again, the first thing I would say, find your greatest strength. Don't focus on your weaknesses. When you begin to focus on your strengths, they are becoming magnified and your weaknesses become diminished. They are given for a purpose. Find your passion. You want to live life passionately. When you're passionate, passion is a force, it's a fuel, it's an energy. There is no way you can sit back. It propels you every single day to want to do that. You should actually envisage. Have a vision. Have a clear mental image of what you want to become in every area of your life, especially if you're not doing it for money. If you're not doing it because you were poor, because you actually play small. You get a job just to get a wage when you can do much more than that. So have a vision. Write it down, make it clear. Don't keep it in your mind. Extract it and put it down. Draw it, put the images that you can see daily. Take actions, no matter how small they are, and ask. Ask for help. No one can do it all. No one has the answer to it all. There are role models that have gone ahead of you. Ask. You will be amazed. So I wish you all the very best.
Thank you for that. Thank you for very powerful, wise words again, and I love that you ended with ask, because I find women, I remember myself too, when I first started, it was hard to ask until I really understood that, and then what a big difference it made in my life. So thank you for your wise words. So if people who are interested to learn a little bit more about your work and be in touch with you, to get your guidance and mentoring, how can they reach out to you?
Oh, wonderful. Thank you so much. You can reach out to me through www.drsylvialikambi.com. That's one of my websites, www.drsylvialikambi.com, or www.voiceofnations.org.uk, www.voiceofnations.org.uk. You could reach out to me via Facebook. I'm very active on Facebook, Instagram, and it's Dr. Sylvia Likambi. You can go to my page, Dr. Sylvia Likambi International, Dr. Sylvia Likambi International, and just reach out to me, ask any questions, go to my website. We also have a publishing company with my daughter. You want to write a book, we support and mentor, coach individuals who have a story. Everyone has a story. So it can be www.likambiglobalpublishing.com, www.likambiglobalpublishing.com. And you can also reach me out through Dr. Rain. She'll be very happy to get you in touch with me. Thank you so much.
Yes, I would be. I love that. There's one part you just mentioned, when we come together, we're a brighter light. That's the goal, right? That's the goal. It's when we cooperate and collaborate, we all shine brighter, and we support people in shining brighter. So for those of you who heard Dr. Sylvia mention, she has a publishing arm. I've actually just interviewed her daughter, so that we'll be releasing that video some point soon. And also, she has a power couple show with her husband that talks about power couple. We were very honored. My husband and myself was just on it last weekend. And so, you those of couples who are listening to, if you want to get tips about being power couple, because they work together, they both, they talk about, how to do that and strategies to do that. And also just amazing, both of you are amazing couple, very, in doing their work, they are married, they're raising kids together, all of that, right? So just, and also blissful. I remember that was one of your keywords, how to be blissful in your marriage and relationship. So those of you interested, please look out for, I know you have a group, a Facebook group around that as well. Okay.
Oh, thank you so much. You were an incredible power couple on the show. Honestly, I never laughed that way and cried. Actually, you were incredible. Thanks so much for your wisdom with Zach. We really appreciate you. Honestly, you were superb. You were superb. Thank you.
So thank you again for being on our show and sharing your wisdom from your heart today on our Red Heart Wisdom Show. Before we end, I would just like to ask you again, is there anything else you want to share with our audience?
Great. One more I would just share with them. It's really being your authentic self. My daughter said that as well, because for me, it's so important. Be your authentic self. Just be you. Just be you. Find out who you are. Find out your identity. There is so much power in each and every one of us. And believe in yourself. You are given all the strengths you have because you are capable of actually maximizing them, utilizing them. Just you go out and be authentic. Love yourself for who you are. Don't try to be another. Love yourself, whatever skin color, whatever race, whatever gender. Just love yourself for who you are. It's powerful. When you start loving yourself, that's when the miracle and embracing yourself for who you truly are, the transformation starts taking place. And your authentic self is just what the world needs, You become so unique, and honestly, and begin to transform life in a very unique way, peculiar to you.
Well, thank you again for being on our show. Thank you for empowering women. Thank you for supporting children. I know you're also empowering men right now with your work, not just women anymore. Thank you for empowering nation. That's why you're a voice of nation, right? Being that voice for women and for humanity and empowering the world. I am so grateful to have you as a friend, to have you as that partner that, we're contributing to the world, and to continue that journey with you. It's just an honor and privilege, and I have so much gratitude. I'm so blessed to have you in my life.
Thank you so much. The honor is all mine. I'm so privileged and honored to have you as well in my life, honestly, Dr. Rain. I'm really, really blessed. And I really look forward to coming to Canada once everything is settled. Thank you so much.
Yes, I look forward to that. I really look forward to that. So thank you for being on our show once again. And for those of you who watch, please subscribe, please comment. And we look forward to what you have to share with us. Thank you again.
So much. Thank you for having me. Really appreciate you. Thank you.
All right. Take care. Bye.
Bye. Thanks a lot. Bye.